Good morning, Standard 7. Once again, I am before you with the second chapter of history, that is Islam and its impact on the Middle East. In my last conversation, I have mentioned you about a remarkable event that occurred in Europe and how this event had an impact on the life of the people not only living in Europe but all over the world. We have seen its impact in the different sphere of human life, and now we are going to discuss the second important event. This is also a remarkable event. See, any event is marked as remarkable and important, and even we are discussing today this because it is an important from historical point of view. So an event which brings a great change, which brings a change not only in political or social but in every sphere of human life, that is known as a remarkable or important event. So likewise, the Islam, which is a new religion during this medieval period, it it is also one of the major change, and we will see how this change had an impact on the life of the people, how it had brought the changes around the world. So, in this chapter, I'm going to mention you about the conditions prevailing in Arabia before the birth of Islam. We will look into the life of Prophet Muhammad and his teachings. We will see Islam and its basic principles, and also we will discuss the other things. Okay? Now, as I have mentioned you that history is a vast subject, and for better and easy understanding of history, it is bifurcated into three different periods, that is ancient, medieval and modern. See, the time period of medieval age differs from country to country. Suppose somewhere you will also go through that it is mentioned that 8th to 18th century the period is known as the medieval period. Suppose in India we take the medieval period time 8th to 18th century, but in different, suppose in other countries like Europe, it is different time. Now if you will move during the medieval age in the Middle East part of the world, you will see there is a emergence of a new religion. Okay, now before moving to that, I would like to go to the background. Okay, what were the conditions which were existing in the society before its birth? Now, if you will look to the Arabian society, you will see that it is actually a fragmented society. Why I am saying fragmented? Because there is a lack of strong political order or strong political authority. The society was bifurcated, divided into different parts, and these Arabian society, which were divided into different tribes, they have their own leader, and due to the clash of interest, they were engaged in war. Okay, they were always engaged in fighting with each other, and as I have mentioned you earlier also, war is not good for any society, not for any community. Okay, so here also at social level you will see that society was divided into different classes, ruling classes, then your there were rich money lenders and merchants also, and common people also. So if you will see the society at social level, the society was dominated by the males. Okay, it is a male dominated society. What is the meaning of male dominated society? Where the male members have many rights, they are powerful, and the women counterparts are devoid of the basic rights. Here also you will see that women don't have any rights. Even the society at social level, you will see there were different vices present, like your gambling, drinking, and even female infanticide was also practiced there. What is the meaning of female infanticide? Killing of the girl child after the birth. Okay, now, if we will see at economic level, the society was also backward. Why? Because it was a vast desert area devoid of natural vegetations. There were no permanent rivers, and they were actually practicing trade and camel rearing. Okay, they were moving, and these people were leading a nomadic life. The nomads of Arabian desert land were known as Bedouins, and they were moving from one place to another with their karwa, and they were engaged in buying and selling process. Now, at economic level, you will see Makkah and Hijaz were the most important town present in the area. Makkah was very important because you will see that its location, strategically it is very vital, because it is situated at the junction of two important trading routes. Now we have seen the Arabian society at political level, social level, and economic level. But at a religious level also, if you will see, you will find that people were practicing different religions like Jews. There were some Jews. There were the people who were following Christianity and others. There were a lot of rituals, and idol worship was also prevalent in the society. So the if you look to the whole picture of Arabian society before the birth of Islam, we will see a picture of disorganized and fragmented society. Okay. Now let's move to the teachings and early life of the Prophet Muhammad. See, Prophet Muhammad, who is the founder of the religion, he was born in a small town in Arabia. He was born in Makkah in 570 CE, and if you will see, not much evidence is there about his early life. Actually, his father Abdullah, he died before his birth. Mother died when he was 6 years old, and he was actually brought up by his uncle and grandfather. And when he reached his youth, he became a shepherd, later on a camel driver. And when at the age of 25, he was employed to a rich widow named Khadija, whom he married afterwards. And at the age of 40, there was a major change in his life, and it was a turning point in his life. Why? Because this was the time period when while meditation, he got the revelations by God. Okay, what is the revelations? What is the meaning of revelations? It is actually the communication with the divine. Okay, so after having communication with the divine, Prophet Muhammad had came to know the truth of this life, and in this way he was very clear that he was chosen as a prophet by the God. And what is the meaning of the prophet? Prophet means the messenger of God. Messenger of God means who spreads the message of God. He was asked by God to spread his words to the people living in this land. And in this way, you will see that Prophet Muhammad, he, after realizing the truth and revelations by the God, he started preaching and propounding this new religion. And the first few converts to this new religion were Khadija, his wife, his friend Abu Bakr, and his cousin Ali. Now let's move to the basic principles of Islam. So, the according to Prophet Muhammad, this new this new religion which he called Islam, it actually means submission to the will of God. Okay, and this religion did not have so many rituals. It has actually he asks the followers of Islam or the believers of Islam to just go for the 5 practices which were daily duties of any follower of Islam. Okay, and what are these 5 basic duties which a follower of Islam should do every day? First of all, believe in just one God, that is Allah. Allah is the only God. There is no God except Allah. Okay, and Prophet Muhammad is his prophet. Muhammad is his prophet. Actually, Muhammad is the messenger of God. Okay, prophet means messenger of God. Now, the second one, prayer, that is namaz, has to be done 5 times a day with a face turned towards Makkah. Okay, Makkah is the religious, it is a pilgrimage of the followers of Islam. During the month of Ramzan, they have to keep fast from sunrise to sunset. And every follower of Islam has to help the needy and the poor sections of the society. And this charity, which is done by the Muslim people for the poor ones, it is known as Zakat. Lastly, every Muslim or every follower of Islam, they have to go Makkah, which is a pilgrimage place, and this going to Makkah for pilgrimage, it is known as Hajj actually in Islam. So once during their lifetime, they have to go for the Hajj to Makkah. Most of the principles you will see, they are very similar to, although we are seeing there are different religions in the society, but if you will see these religions closely, most of the principles are very similar to each other. Okay, now, so this new religion which was founded by Prophet Muhammad, it has some basic principles which I have discussed with you. I will just go for the conclusion of it. So there is only one God, that is Allah. There is no need of elaborate rituals. Help the needy and poor ones. So go for namaz 5 times a day. Go for Hajj once during the lifetime. And repeat the word, there is no God but Allah, and Prophet Muhammad is his Muhammad is his prophet. According to Prophet Muhammad, the God is very powerful, merciful, and he rewards and punish the people according to their behavior. There is no place for gambling and drinking. Even the pork meat is abolished to the people who are following this new religion. And money lending, if you will see, before the birth of Islam, there were money lenders in the society. So money lending is a crime which is said to be a crime by Prophet Muhammad, because money lending you cannot practice in Islam. People who follow Islam, they cannot go for this practice. Thus, all the teachings which were given by Prophet Muhammad, they are compiled in a book which is a holy book of Muslims, and it is known as Quran. And Quran, as it contains the revelations made by God himself, so its authority cannot be questioned. Okay, because God has revealed the truth to Muhammad, and Muhammad had carried his words into this book, so nobody can question the things which are given in the book. Let's move to the Muhammad's flight to Medina. See, whenever there is a change in society, I have mentioned you very clearly that it is not accepted easily by the society. We have seen in Christianity also, when Jesus Christ tried to preach the people, tried to reveal the message of the God, it was not welcomed and accepted by the people. Okay, so here also you will see in case of Islam also, there was opposition by the people when he started spreading the message of the God. So because of the fear from the opposition people, and also for his safety, he had to move from Makkah to Medina. Okay, so his movement his movement from Makkah to Medina is known as Hijrah or Hijrat. Okay, so this is the starting point of the Muslim calendar Hijri. So what is this Hijrat? Simply the movement of Prophet Muhammad along with his followers from Makkah to Medina. Okay, and it took place around 622 CE. Now we have seen that in 622 CE he had to move from Makkah to Medina, and in 624 he again returned to the city of Makkah, because in Medina he had a large number of followers, and along with his followers, when he defeated his enemies, he again established himself in this city, and it is a holy city of Muslims. Okay, and here you will see Kaaba is also established. Kaaba, what is Kaaba? Kaaba is actually the square black stone, which is a sacred stone, and it is very sacred for the Muslims. And while praying, they face towards Makkah and especially towards this Kaaba. So you will see that Prophet not only founded the new religion, but he after a certain span of time he had a great followers. He had great number of followers, and due to his large following, he was able to establish brotherhood in the Arabian society, which was once a divided society. Now he was able to unite the different Arabian tribes into a nation, and this is one of the greatest achievement made by him during that time. So, because of the continuous efforts of Prophet Muhammad and his followers, Islam not only spread throughout the Europe but to the different parts of the world. And you will see that how Prophet Muhammad brought these warring tribes, how he united the warring tribes into powerful kingdom. Actually, the credit goes to Prophet Muhammad for bringing the political consciousness in the Muslim community. Islam rapidly spread it to the different parts even after the death of Prophet Muhammad, and even large number of people were converted to this new religion. It is spread up to Syria, Persia, and other parts of the world. Come to the caliphate. What is caliph? Who is caliph? See, Khalifa. Khalifa is actually the title. The caliph the caliph is actually a title which is adopted by the successors of Prophet Muhammad. Khalifa, in one word, is simply the successor of Prophet Muhammad. So you remember Abu Bakr, the first few converters to this new religion of Islam. So Abu Bakr, who was the friend of Prophet Muhammad, he was the first Khalifa, and he ruled for 2 years. He was very faithful, as he was very faithful to Prophet Muhammad. He, even after during his reign, you will see that he worked continuously to spread and grow this new religion. Now, after this Abu Bakr, you will see he was succeeded by Umar, then your Usman, and finally Ali. After the death of Abu Bakr, the Umayyad dynasty came to power. The Umayyad dynasty was founded by Syria's governor known as Muawiyah. Okay, he was the founder of this dynasty. The Umayyads, they shifted the capital of Arab Empire to Damascus. Damascus, your present day, the capital city of Syria. So, because of the extensive military expeditions, you will see that the Islamic State has been extended up to Afghanistan, Spain, Central Asia, and Africa. Sindh was conquered by Muhammad bin Qasim in 712 CE and made as the province of Umayyad dynasty. After Umayyads, the Abbasids came to power, and Harun al-Rashid was a famous caliph of this Abbasid empire. And if you will see his reign is a golden era. Why? Because during his time there were many scientific, cultural, and different religious revolutions and changes, as well as developments, which brought a great which brought a great changes in the society, and which took the Islamic State to a great height, not only in terms of military expedition or expansion, but also in terms of science, literature, and other fields. During their reign, you will see the capital was again shifted from Damascus to Baghdad, that is present day Iraq. So they were not stopped at this moment also. You will see that for hundred of years the expansion process was carried out, first by the Arabs, then Persians, then Turks, and again by Mongols. Now let's finally come to the impact of Islam. So any change which takes place in society, definitely it had a great impact, and Islam, which is a remarkable event I'm discussing today, we are discussing this event because of some vitality it is even today relevant. And let's come to the result of this new religion which emerged in Middle East. So if you will see that rise of Islam led to the political consciousness, especially in the Arabian tribes, which were the bifurcated ones. So because of Islam, there was emergence of Arabians and Muslims into a strong political united community. Okay, so now you have a powerful and a powerful nation, Arabian nation, which is united because of this new religion. And we have seen how Prophet Muhammad has continuously worked and spread the message of brotherhood, united the different tribes living in the Arabian desert land, and how these Arabians emerged from Arabia to the different parts of the world, like your Afghanistan, Spain, Syria, Central Asia, Africa. So first of all, this is the change which has been made after the emergence of this new religion. Second one, see, because of their growing power and because of the developments, now economically also they were becoming strong, and one of the major reason behind this was the trade. So now the Arabians were establishing their trade relations with India, China, and other parts of the world. You will see that with India they had a very good trade relationship. Indian goods like your spices, textiles had a great demand in the Arabian market. And you will see that because of this trade relationship, this new religion even landed to India. So first of all, it was landed into the western coastal part of India, and the people who were the followers of Islam, they first settled in the Malabar area, and they even married to the girls living in the area and settled down in India and spreaded Islam in this country also. So again, India was having a new religion called Islam. Now you will see second impact is that when I have already mentioned you that Harun al-Rashid, he was a Khalifa, and during his reign you will see that the Islamic State had reached a great height, not only in terms of expansion but in terms of literature, architecture, science, maths, astronomy. So in different fields it developed. He was a prominent player who led to the development in different sections of the human life. Okay, and even the scholars from India visited to the courts of Harun al-Rashid, and you will see that during his time, many important works which were from India or to the different parts of the world, they were converted into Arabic, Persian, and other languages, and these new informations were brought in the Arabian society which lacked earlier education, which was earlier a dark society. Now it was lighted by the different informations and knowledge brought from the different sources. So you can compare the time of Harun al-Rashid with the great emperors like Akbar or Ashoka, who are still very well-known rulers, who are regarded as a great rulers because of the remarkable works they have done, not only in terms of the expansion of their kingdom but also in other fields. Okay. Next, you will see Baghdad became a center of learning as it was the capital of this Abbasid Caliphs, and the system of calligraphy also developed here. What is calligraphy? The art of beautiful writing. So it was used for decorating the buildings, monuments. Field of architecture, you will see the pointed arc, the use of columns were some of the basic features of Muslim architecture, and the construction of mosques in Damascus, Jerusalem, and Baghdad. You will see these were the buildings which are still a milestone in the field of architecture, especially the rock of Sorry, it is the Dome of Rock in the Jerusalem. It is still a great architectural work, a piece of example, an example of Muslim architecture. Field of literature also, you will see great works like your Arabian Nights, or your Ali Baba and 40 Thieves. Even your the use of poetry rhyme, the use of rhymes in poetry in perfect style was firstly used by this Arabic people in Arabian languages. Your Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam was one of the famous literature work of this period. So ultimately, if we sum up the whole chapter, we see that how the conditions in society, in Arabic society, was there before the birth of Islam, how a man called Prophet Muhammad brought a great change in the society through a new religion, spreaded the light of knowledge, and not only lighted the Arabian desert land but also the different parts of the world, and how this new religion emerged as one of the second major religion of the world. So, thank you. Here the chapter is over. If there is any problem, please mention me. I'm giving you the question answers and homework. Please go through it. Thank you.